We're live now? Yes, awesome. Sir. And we're here. We are here with, we're here with Anicka Newell. I swear I mess up everyone's name on this show.
No worries.
And so, Anicka, so for people that might not be familiar with you, why don't you tell them a little background on what you do?
I am a professional pole vaulter. I'm a 2-time Olympian and currently training to pursue my third Olympic Games in 2024.
Ooh, all right. So you actually won the pole vaulting, or Olympian by meaning like you qualified? Qualified. Sorry. Yeah. I was like, I actually wasn't sure. So no, but I mean, that's a huge honor though. Like that's a big accomplishment. I'm not trying to devalue it at all. And so where are you originally from?
Oh gosh, I was actually born in Texas, but I essentially grew up in New Mexico, and then my family is Canadian, so I compete for Canada because of that. I have dual citizenship.
Yeah, I was curious about that. That was one of the first things I noticed was that you represent Canada, but you're from here, and I was wondering how that played out. Like, how did you end up representing the Canadian team? Like, was it just because don't you have to be a citizen, or do you have like dual citizenship?
I have dual.
Okay.
Yeah, since I was born, and essentially when I decided to become a professional athlete, I was just able to choose between U.S. or Canada.
It was Canada's. Was there a significant difference between the two?
Not necessarily. There was just going to be more opportunity with Canada, so I chose that route.
No, that's great. I was wondering where that came from, but yeah, I mean, what's the opportunities that go better with Canada over the U.S.?
There's just so many U.S. athletes, and they try to, divvy it up and give equal opportunity. And because there's not as many Canadian professional athletes, I was just going to see, potentially more sponsorships or more meet opportunities. So essentially everything.
Yeah. No. How often do you compete a year?
Oh gosh. I mean, I compete from January to September.
Oh, wow. So you're always going.
Yeah, I'm always going. Like I have a meet next week.
Oh, really? Where at?
Actually, at Texas State, but I'm
down in San Marcos.
Yep. Yeah. Gonna treat it like a training session.
Oh, cool. Is it like an actual almost like a pro competition, or is it just kind of like a meet?
This is gonna be like a practice for me. Oh, perfect. Basically.
Cool. And so have you always just done pole vaulting, or like what's kind of your history in athletics? Did you do anything else?
Yeah, no, I was multi-event, and I actually got recruited to universities to be a heptathlete at a couple of places. Cool. And I almost went down that road, but I guess I'm glad I didn't, because pole vault was the way to go.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing pole vaulting now?
This is my 12th year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. And you went to college for it, correct?
I did.
Where'd you go for school?
I went to Texas State University.
Oh, all right. There you go. What's
Bobcats.
There we go. Yeah, did you do all 4 years? Or is it like a recruited scholarship, all that? And then after that said going to Canada.
After that, I decided to go pro and continue with my career.
And when was the last competition that you had?
Oh gosh. It's actually been a minute. I was dealing with a little bit of an injury this year, so I've been out for several months. It's been kind of tough. So pretty much the Prefontaine Classic in Oregon after the Olympics.
Yeah, and how'd you do with that one?
I did well. I got 4th, so decent. Okay.
And so how long, like before that, were you living in Austin?
Well, I live in San Marcos.
Oh, San Marcos.
And I'm pretty much close enough. It's going to be Austin in a couple years. But I've been living there since I went to college.
Okay. Yeah. In prior to that, you were New Mexico or in school. Okay. Yeah. And so since you represent Canada, when you're training, do you just train out here and then just go rep them, or do you spend time up there?
I love the heat. I love training in the heat. So I train down here full time. And then I take training camps or training stints in Canada every so often.
Okay. Yeah, I can't do the cold. I'm from Idaho, so we're like right next to Canada, and I cannot do the cold. And I get asked all the time. I was just talking to my old man the other day, and he's like, "So how's the weather down there?" I was like, "It's like 82. It's nice. Like it's beautiful out." And he's like, "Oh man, that's hot. I don't know if I could do that. It's a nice like 48 out right now.
Nice.
There's no wind, so it doesn't suck." And I'm like, "Sounds awful. It's like April and it's still cold." And like,
No, literally, I'll talk to my grandma, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I was finally in the positives today."
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yep. Yeah.
No.
When the snowstorm hit here, I was so pissed, and it was more of like I thought I escaped this. Like this isn't supposed to happen, and I just laugh when it gets cold here and people panic and like there's freezes and stuff.
Don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Don't know, like the freaking whole grid system broke down. I'm like, literally, this is like a Tuesday in Canada.
Yeah, right. I was so annoyed. I was just rolling my eyes the whole time and watching people panic. Or even just recent this last winter, there was that like cold day.
Yeah.
And everything shut down, and I was like, guys, relax. Like this is nothing. Wasn't Marlon? Wasn't that when we had Tim on and we were just like, they had closed everything down, and he showed up and he's like in these big old boots, and
bro, Tim came in snow boots.
Yeah. And
oh my gosh.
we were all just laughing about like how are people so worried about this, and so no, it's funny. Yeah, so I can't do the cold, and I'm sure when you're training up there, it's an indoor facility.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I did bring my sparkly Ugg boots though, and they were all making fun of me because apparently that's not appropriate for cold weather. They did the job though.
Yeah, I'm like, what's appropriate? Like, I just want to be warm. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't miss the cold. I don't miss playing sports in the cold. It hurts way more.
It hurts.
Yeah,
I know.
Everything hurts, and even like probably I've never pole vaulted. I should try it sometime with you. But I'm imagining when you land in the cold as opposed to just like a nice facility, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't feel good. And I know that there's science actually behind this that disputes this. But I feel like my poles just aren't as bendy when it's cold.
That would make sense.
I mean, it seems like it would make sense. Apparently that's not the truth, but I feel like it does.
So they've debunked that? Like
Yeah.
the cold can't change like the stiffness of the...
Supposedly, yes.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see,
I'm
that's
not
how I
buying
feel.
it.
I'm not buying into
Yeah,
it either.
that's not real. So what got you into pole vaulting originally?
I was a gymnast for about 10 years when I was younger. And when I started doing track, my track coach was like, "You were a gymnast, you need to try pole vault."
And that was it? Just started doing it?
The rest is history. Yeah. No, I mean, I guess it was the best decision ever for sure. But I picked it up fairly quickly, and then from there found a love for it.
Just booming. And so when was your first Olympic trial?
Oh, so 2016 in
So not too long ago.
no.
God, well, it doesn't seem like it's that long ago. Time's going by way too fast.
It feels like it was a long time ago, but at the same time, yeah, it's, I mean, really only, 6 years ago? So
Man, already?
yeah.
God. I feel like 2016 was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. That's the year I graduated from university, so I feel
really?
kind of old.
No, well, I feel old when I find out that people born in like 2000 are 22.
I know.
Like that blows my
know.
mind. And so no, it's getting too weird. And so what was that whole like, how do you get to the Olympic trials, and then how is it when you like, what do you have to do to qualify and then go to the Olympics?
So for Canada specifically, and this is for majority of countries anyways, you have to hit the qualifying standards. You have to jump a certain height, and that takes you to the Olympic trials, where you have to place, for Canada, it's either first or second is a guarantee. For the U.S., I know it's top 3 or a guarantee or a sure in. But yeah, for Canada, place first or second at the trials.
And how'd you do at the trials your first time?
I placed second.
Yeah. Hey, still get to go though? Still qualifies?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with silver.
Better, though.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. And so then where was the first Olympics that you competed at?
It was in Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, nice.
It was beautiful.
I've been dying to go there. I wanted to go there for my birthday last year. I'm like,
it's gorgeous.
What was that like?
Oh my gosh. I mean, well, first of all, that was my first ever international professional competition. So I mean, it was just a whirlwind. It was wild to me. I was so nervous, and biggest stage I've ever been on, and like going overseas to compete. It was just crazy. But the country itself was beautiful, and I got to go to the beaches, spend time. My family actually came, and it was wonderful.
I love checking out places with completely different cultures than what I'm surrounded with. And
yes,
I love that, and that's one of the things. That's on my bucket list, is to go there and do that. So when you're down there, do you guys like mingle with the other pole vaulters, or are they like very secluded? I've always wondered.
So before the competition, people kind of stay in their lane. But afterwards, it's a lot of fun, and you get to like their personalities come out, and you get to hang out and, you know, go to the dining hall together, go to some of like the Red Bull party or something afterwards together. So it's really fun. Is
there anyone that you like kind of either whether it's public or just to yourself that you like rival with, that you're like, that's the person that I'm competing against?
You know, in pole vault, it's funny because you do have rivalries for sure, but the biggest one is with yourself. Yeah. Because it's essentially you and the bar. Like you're competing against the bar. You want the height more than anything else, and to win it, you need to jump big bars. I'm super unfamiliar with pole vaulting, and doing a little bit of research onto it. I was trying to learn kind of how it works, and so with that, good luck.
Today's episode is brought to you by ReGen Health and Wellness. The team at ReGen Health and Wellness is devoted to helping patients revitalize, repair, and renew the optimal blueprint of yourself. They provide an individualized and concierge model of healthcare, empowering patients to optimize their health span and overall quality of life. It's said no one can escape father time, but almost everyone can make the conscious decision and commit to living better and healthier lives. It begins with a mindset. They offer both in-clinic and telemedicine consultations. So whether you're due for a routine checkup or struggling to hit your health and fitness goals, go online or give them a call to schedule your appointment today. Yeah, right. That's why you're here. So do you basically, when you go to compete, do you have them set the bar at a certain height and you are just like, that's your goal to clear it? Or is it they set it for you and good luck?
They set it for you. So there's a progression. It'll start at a certain height, and then it'll go up by 6 inches, usually 4 to 6 inches every time. You get 3 chances or 3 attempts at each height. So if you clear it, that's good. You made your attempt, and you wait for it to go up 6 inches. But if you miss it, you get 2 more attempts after that. So you can choose like when you want to enter the competition. So say the bar starts at 14 feet. And I'm not wanting to come in at that height. It's too low for me. So then I wait for it to get to 14.6 or 15 feet.
Okay. And then you get 3 attempts?
Then I get my 3 attempts.
What happens if you hit the bar and it like falls?
It's a miss. Even if you're like 3 feet over the bar and your pinky happens to knock it off.
How is it like super sensitive too, the bar?
Sometimes it is, and it really depends on how they have it set up and the weight of the bar. Because if it's heavier, it'll sit nice. And we call it getting bar love when it kind of shakes around.
It doesn't go
and it doesn't go anywhere. But yeah, sometimes, I mean, like I said, like your pinky will just barely brush it. And it's like, boop.
I mean, that would suck so much. Like you clear it and then just the little graze and you're like, damn it.
It's just annoying. You're like, now I got to do it again. Like, it's just frustrating.
It's a very unique sport. It's something that honestly looks like a ton of fun though, too. Like, shooting that high up, like,
you know what? It's fun when you do it right.
yeah, I bet. And so, yeah, with when you're competing and doing that, so I was trying to learn what certain numbers meant, and I think I was watching an interview, and you would hit, hope I don't mess it up, but it was like a 0.470.
Okay.
I don't know what that means though.
Yeah,
but
just 470.
So what is that?
That's meters.
Meters?
So we use meters.
Okay. That makes
because
sense.
you know the U.S. just likes to be different and uses feet.
Feet. Yeah. We're still behind. We like to exclude ourselves from all the other norms. Yeah. I meet people that talk and they use kilograms for weight.
Kilos for
weight. Kilos. Well, that's a weightlifting community too, the powerlifting, which is probably the only thing I'm familiar with, and that's what I'm loving most about interviewing individuals like yourself and from different sports is expanding my mind.
You learn new things.
Oh, it's great. And so how high is that for people that don't know?
It's 15 feet 5 inches.
Is that your PR or have you beat that since?
That's currently my PR. It will be broken soon.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. What's the goal you're going for?
I want the Canadian record, which currently it's 482, which for those of you who need feet, it's 15.9.
I am one of those.
So I want to jump essentially 15.10, close to 16 feet this year or next year.
And who has that record right now?
My teammate, Anicka Newell.
Really? Is she still competing as well?
She is. Yeah.
And does she out here in Texas too, or is she up in
she's
Canada?
in Canada.
Okay. Yeah. And so you're going for that. You guys kind of push each other on that too.
Yeah, we do.
When are you going to go for that? Is it the Texas State one you say you're coming, or is it you save that for a bigger competition?
Well, I won't be going for it there because I'm actually going to do my training approach, which is a shorter approach. So I won't be on as long of a run up or on big poles or anything. It's essentially for me to work on some technical cues. But as soon as I'm really ready to get rolling, then we'll go to a competition that has some nice runways and whatnot and try and go for it.
Yeah, that's a smart approach. So is there like, are you very selective on where you go to compete? Like, does it have to deal with like, as far as how it's set up, like the terrain, or if it's inside, do you have like a certain preference?
I mean, I definitely have a preference, but sometimes you really just can't be picky. Yeah. Throughout the year, I try and hit like a certain number of competitions. And I have an agent that, tells me what's going on and where it's happening and stuff. And in some cases, it's like there's competitions that will pay me to come and compete. Yeah. So it's like, okay, no matter what it looks like, I'm going.
Yeah, send the check. I'm on the way. Right? Yeah, no, that's probably one of the coolest things about being a professional athlete is you now get paid to go and compete in sports and do that. And so kind of on that topic then, with training, like what does your normal training regimen look like?
So I train 6 days a week and anywhere from 2 hours to 6 hours a day. But that does include like my recovery time and like seeing my physical therapist as well. So that stuff. So it doesn't seem as daunting. It's not just like 6 hours of cardio.
Oh God, no, that's too much. So are you specifically when you're training just doing the pole vault action itself, or do you add like agility work and speed, any type of weightlifting, things like that?
Yes, absolutely. So I actually only pole vault twice a week.
Okay.
And then the other days are either sprinting, lifting, mobility, agility, plyometrics, pretty much the whole nine, just getting as like fast and strong as I possibly can.
Yeah. How essential is all of that? Like, what do you think plays a role in the most as far as clearing like records? Is it how fast you're running towards it? I don't really understand how people will hit those things and how they like throw themselves over, because I've seen the videos of people just crash and burn, and I'm like, that's me.
Well, it's all physics, and I could break it down, but
let's hear it.
No, well,
I got time.
I won't do it that in depth. But essentially, yes, the faster you run, the more velocity you have going into the pole, the more you can load the pole, and the more pop you get from the pole. But speed without control is dangerous. So you want to be fast, but you want to have controlled speed.
Yeah, I'm always afraid that the bar would break.
I've had a couple of poles break on me.
That's like that would scar me. I'd be so scared to try it after that. Are there specific types that like holds certain weights, or are they all pretty much similar?
I mean, they're all pretty much similar. There's definitely people who would say like one pole brand is better than the other, really? But I mean, they all do their job essentially. How
are they built? I've never actually held one. I don't know how. Like I said, I'm very unfamiliar with pole vaulting, but I'm like
come take a lesson.
I'm down.
From me.
I'm all about it. I actually started a show called so my last name is Job.
Okay.
And the show we started is called Just Your Average Job.
Okay.
And the whole premise of it is I'm constantly surrounded by like big pro athletes, like high profile athletes, pros from all different walks of life.
So you're gonna try their discipline.
So I said, why don't I go and I played sports all through college, and I grew up in it, and then I fell off, and I just got into being a typical Monday through Friday gym rat, like nothing special. Yep. Okay. And so just the average guy. And so I've been getting this itch to compete in sports again, but I didn't really have like a specific one I wanted to do. And so I was like, shit, why don't I just go try this sports? And
I love it. Yeah.
So the first one we did was with a guy named Nicky Rodriguez, who's like a world champion jiu-jitsu competitor. And I don't know if you know, but Austin has become like the mecca of jiu-jitsu.
I didn't know.
Everyone has come here, the best in the
world.
So that was fun. I got beat up for a little while, and it was great. No, I'd love to go do that, and it'd be fun to watch people.
Definitely need to come and try pole vaulting. It would be. I'm a pretty good coach.
Yeah, I'm about it. We'll work it out. I'll go and maybe we'll bring Marlon.
I was just about to say he can come too.
Yeah. Is there like a weight limit to what would be effective for like?
Don't worry, we have big poles.
Yeah.
We got big boy poles.
Is there with the poles? Is there like I guess the way I could put it that people could relate to is like with boxers, like they all the opponents go and like they check the gloves and do that stuff to make sure and they have to agree. Is that the same way with poles? Like, does everyone have to have like? Is there a certain one you have to use?
Actually, in high school there is. There's a weight label at the top of every pole that essentially says, you know, you can't be over this weight and jump on this pole. But professionally, nobody gives a rat's.
Yeah,
so
they
you
don't
jump
care.
on whatever you want.
Yeah. So how does that work? Are there divisions as far as pole vaulting goes? Is there like weight classes? Or is there age groups?
Nope, just men and women.
Yep. That's I've never heard that before. That's usually they divide them up into classes so no one has an edge, but that'd be interesting to watch. Today's episode is brought to you by Avatar Nutrition. It is always a treat to show some love to our sponsor, Avatar Nutrition. Avatar is actually owned by my friend Mark, who is a lifting buddy of mine from the gym. What I didn't realize at the time is that his app has been used by close to 200,000 people, and they've used it to lose over 2.5 million pounds of pure body fat. What's really special about Avatar is that it's a complete service delivered through a super easy-to-use app. See, Avatar is the OG in the macros game and created a process that makes counting macros both fun and simple to stick to long-term. You've got unlimited support from their community and experts on staff, and they are in the business of giving their clients results that last. Try it free on the App Store or Google Play Store for 2 weeks, and if you love it as much as I do, it's just $9.99 a month after that, or $97.99 for the annual rate if you want even more of a discount. If you're a coach, trainer, or you own any kind of business and want to use Avatar to facilitate game-changing nutrition coverage for your people, Avatar is a program for groups too. Just contact them through their website to learn more at www.avatarnutrition.com. No.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, is there like a weight that you want to try and stay in since there aren't any like weight classes or anything like that? Or how does that, or does weight even matter?
Well, it does matter. If I'm on the heavier side, then chances are I'm going to be on a little bit heavier poles. And I prefer to stay at a certain weight for my competition just because I know that that's usually where I'm like the most tone and I can get within a certain range in a pole series that's going to like give me the most fling on top.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. That adds up. And, you know, with doing that, you like you're saying you had past, you were coming off an injury.
Yeah.
What was that injury?
It was pretty severe plantar fasciitis with some bone edema as well.
Oh, wow.
So.
And for people that don't know what that is.
Okay. The bottom of your foot, there's some muscles that attach to like your heel bone and they were just starting to like fray and pull at the bone so much that the bone was bleeding.
Oh, ow. And
super fun.
Yeah. How did you what was the recovery process like for that?
It was just long. It was just very tedious. I did a lot of physical therapy. I did some stem and laser treatments that were fairly painful, but they helped a lot. And then I actually went to Canada to work with the staff up there because they have a great training and treatment staff. So they helped me out a lot.
And so you're back. You say you're 100%?
I'm not at 100% yet. I'm still working on it. I still go to physical therapy twice a week right now to work on it, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. Does it like mess up your training regimen at all, or are you still pretty much going?
I'm still pretty much going. I mean, I like to think I have a pretty high pain threshold.
Yeah.
But it's important to know like when the pain is tolerable or when it's important to stop. So if I need to, I'll supplement with like workouts in the pool or workouts on the bike rather than being on the track.
Yeah. Not putting pressure on the foot, things like that. That makes sense. That's smart though. So you were mentioning recovery as well. So obviously, you know, physical therapy is key. I just recently discovered how much I need a chiropractor and how much I need to get worked on more, in stretching and stuff. So, do you add anything else in your recovery program? Like ice baths, cryo is a big one. I'm always a big fan of cryotherapy. I talk about it all the time.
I love cryo.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Let me rephrase. I hate cryo. I love the benefits of cryo.
Yeah. I the first time I did it, I didn't know that like it's so dumb. It's so embarrassing too. So they gave me like the mitts and the stuff. And then they were like, yeah, you have to like, you know, dress down and then we'll give you a robe.
So you're butt ass naked.
I was butt ass naked. I did not know that like you can wear boxers and go in there. I was so cold. I was like, this is awful. Why are people doing this? And then they threw me in the robe and I was like complaining about it. And they're like, wait, were you naked in there? I was like, wasn't I supposed to be? And they're like, no, like what? And I was like, oh, it was so painful. And So, do you do all like the cryofacial stuff too, like where they spray it on you and things like that, or do you just go straight in the?
I haven't done that yet. No, I usually do the cryo room.
Yeah. Oh, I've never done that before.
Yeah, it's a full room, and you couldn't get naked. I mean, you could, I guess, but it's a see-through door.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you party. Yeah. Where do you do that? Is that here?
It's in New Braunfels actually, but I do iCryo.
Oh, iCryo. Yeah, I love those guys. I've been there before. I talked to Paige, she's one of the owners, Paige Hathaway. Yeah. Should get her out here too. I've talked to that team before, but no, cryo's great. And the hyperbaric chamber, I don't know if iCryo has that. Have you ever done those?
They don't have it. They do have the PBM bed, which it looks like a tanning bed.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I really like that.
I've been dying to do more stuff like that for recovery. My body's all beat to hell. So so when actually speaking on that too, that's a good point with the hyperbaric thing. Does elevation change or like climate or any of that mess with your performance, or is it usually pretty?
It doesn't necessarily mess with it. It's been said that it's better to be at a higher altitude. Just like more aerodynamic, like less air to get through.
Yeah.
So you can get a little bit faster and a little bit faster in the air as well when you're going upside down and whatnot. So that's supposed to be better. But I don't actually feel a difference.
Yeah. It's, I guess I can imagine that it wouldn't play a big role in like breathing, I guess, and things like, I know a lot of runners that have to adjust. I'm about to say
distance running.
Yeah. It's so much different. Cause, the first guest we had on the show was Zach Bitter. And I know we were talking about it earlier, and he said he has to adjust to those surroundings and things like that. So I wasn't sure if that played a role when it came to your training. And
no, we don't do altitude training. We do a different kind of altitude training,
Yeah, jumping altitude. Yeah. So, and so you, with that too, you said you usually try to maintain a certain weight. So are you like on any type of specific like meal program, like diets, things like that? Do you work with like a nutritionist or anything?
I do work with a nutritionist. At this point though, I pretty much have everything set in stone. I know how much I need to be eating, what I need to be eating, when I need to be eating it. So I've got it down to a science.
What's your preferred foods? You got any favorites?
I love Mexican food. So you know what? I love fajitas.
Oh,
like that's my go-to. Fajitas and enchiladas.
I just had some yesterday, the chicken enchiladas. And what is it? Blanket on it. It's so good. I can't remember. It's like cow brain, I think. You know what I'm talking about, Marlon?
Ew, what? Cow brain?
Yeah, it's
menudo.
Menudo.
Oh, menudo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yep. I love eating that.
Cow brain?
Isn't that what it is?
It's liver.
Bro, it's not. It's intestines and stuff.
Yeah.
It's some sort of meat.
Like the OG. So I'm from West Texas, where you get like real Mexican food there.
Yeah.
And there's like joint platelets and intestines and stuff like that. But the fat tastes like way better.
Yeah, I imagine, honestly.
Do you have to, like, when you're getting close to a competition, do you have to, does it change at all, or is it pretty, as far as what you eat, how much you eat a day, things like that?
A little bit, but I mean, basically it's just like another training day.
Yeah.
So I treat it the same. I eat the same things. Cause I don't want to, change things around too much, cause I feel like that makes me fluctuate, and I want to stay pretty consistent.
And does it,
Today's episode is brought to you by CBD Online Xpress. CBD Online Xpress is a fresh, up-and-coming CBD company that strives to offer the highest quality products at an affordable price to help you in your everyday life. They offer a variety of products such as tinctures, edibles, flour, and even their new recreational line, Oxed Up. They also have plans to introduce water and an energy drink later this year. Go to cbdonlineexpress.com and get your products today.
Oh, God, how was I gonna phrase it? So, do you, with the training too, does it, do you have like a different style as far as when you're leading up to a competition? Do you like go easier? Do you have like a peak week where you try to hit certain numbers in preparation?
So we go by cycles, and usually they're 4 weeks long. So it'll go hard, harder, hardest, and then I get a recovery week.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But if a competition lands on a hard week, we train all the way through the competition. So I might have like a really hard workout the day before the meet, or even like right after the meet. A few weeks ago, I had a competition, and then right after I had to do a workout.
Brutal.
It was tough, but we got it in. So.
It doesn't affect you that much, really? Like you don't ever feel like tired or burnt out?
I may be a little bit fatigued, but I mean, hey, if you can do it tired, you can definitely do it, feeling good.
Yeah.
So.
Is it different when you're like getting ready for the Olympics versus a normal competition?
Then we definitely start lightening the load a little bit, and just making sure that I'm going to feel good on that day. Yeah, no,
I was curious too, because the competitions you were saying are kind of just practice, and then Olympics is obviously the main goal.
Big show.
And with do pole vaulters, do you like have to take any like supplements or anything prior to like a competition or while you're training? Like you like smash some pre-workout right before you go?
I'm not a pre-workout person, but I do take a ton of supplements.
Really?
Yes, I do. I mean, I use proteins, creatines, collagen, all that stuff, the powders, and then I take 7 pills every morning and every night.
Yeah. Same. What's your preferred ones? What are you usually taking?
So I don't. Well, this sounds bad, but I don't actually know what's in them. But it's by X Endurance. And so it's like the ones that help with like facilitating lactate and not receiving too much during practices and whatnot, like an immune booster. But all of them are specifically designed for athletes. Yeah. So, they're not just, vitamin A, B, C kind of thing. It's like directly for athletes to be getting the most out of them.
Yeah. So it's a multivitamin, or they're separate
some
ones?
multis.
Okay.
Multis and then some separate ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I only take fish oil, vitamin D.
Oh yeah, that's one. Omegas. Yeah.
The acetyl L-carnitine is I think I'm saying that right. What else do I take? Milk thistle, liver kidney, the adrenal support, so like an ashwagandha blend. What else do I take? I don't know. Too much now. No, it helps out, but like I always preach it to people too. They're supplements, not substitutes. So they kind of just add a boost, but it's not, I wouldn't say essential, but I was curious to if do you have like a pre-competition routine too as well?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I always eat pancakes before. And I always eat protein pancakes.
What kind of pancakes? Or the protein pancakes? You don't put like chocolate chips in them or anything?
I put blueberries in them, and then I basically like fry up a banana to put on top. So very good.
So good.
I know. It's making me hungry.
I know, right? Do you use like the Kodiak pancakes? Yep. Those are so popular. I've never had them. Ever?
They're really good.
Really?
And they're really healthy. I haven't been able to find a pancake brand that I like better.
What makes them healthier? Do you know?
They're just they're actually pretty low for being pancakes in carbohydrates.
Oh, okay.
And they're high in protein. And there's not a lot of like extra stuff in them. There's not it's made with like whole wheat powder and stuff instead of all the fake stuff.
Man, you make me want. Hey, Kodiak, you listening?
I know.
Sign our girl.
Seriously.
Yeah, get them. We'll have them send us just tons of stuff. No, that's cool. I've never had them. I need to get on that. So, do you have like any long-term plans with pole vaulting? Do you have planned like post career things like that? Have you thought about any of that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a planner, so I've definitely thought about it. I've got my plan A, B, C. After the Olympics, I know exactly kind of what I intend to do. Whether it pans out, we'll see.
Is it like coaching, or you're keeping it all to yourself right now?
No, it's definitely gonna be coaching. Because I'm coaching currently, and I love it way too much. Like I can't see myself stopping.
No, you coach out here? Do you have like a facility that you work out of?
Yes, I coach in San Antonio at Elite Sports.
Is that like an athletic center too, or is it like a functional
pole vault training facility? Oh,
yeah. So. Do you train people that are competing or like beginners?
Everything.
Everyone?
Literally, my youngest kid is 8 years old, like never picked up a pole. And the oldest person I coach is 65.
What?
Yep.
Really?
Pole vaulting.
And they're clearing that? All that?
Killing it. Yeah.
And did they ever do it before, or is it just something that they got into?
He started, I think, 7 years ago.
What?
Just got into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love seeing that stuff. I always try to tell people like it's not too late to just jump into some stuff.
Definitely not.
Because I feel like people think they're so limited. And I'm like, you're not. Like it's up here. Like you just
absolutely.
You just gotta get rid of that mindset and go and jump in, get comfortable being uncomfortable, trying new things.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely come down there and try to get it out. And so, do you do any other type of training, like or coaching? Do you do like online coaching? Do you ever
do
things like that?
Coaching as well. So I'm currently there's a coach that sends me videos of his athletes, and I send him like a video feed in return with all my feedback and advice.
Okay. So is that like just something you're just doing as a hobby, or is it like becoming more of an actual career?
A little bit of both.
Like something you promote, I guess is what I'm asking. Like,
yeah. I mean, I do promote it. I'm pretty selfish, so I definitely put myself in my athletics first.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, the coaching definitely comes second for me, and I love it. So it's something that I enjoy and that I'm happy to promote, but at the same time, I don't want to overwhelm myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you're still active and competing. So it's like, coaching is, and I talked about it on the last show too. It's something that a good coach dedicates a lot of time to. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine that you're not like you just said, you're putting yourself before. So it's not something that you actively pursue. And, I'm sure are you working with any companies now as far as sponsors and stuff that go?
I have several that I'm working with that aren't necessarily major companies, but that definitely help me out a lot. I'm looking to get a shoe sponsorship this year.
Oh, cool.
I have my hopes for who I want it to be, but we'll see.
Are there specific shoe companies for the actual sport of pole vaulting? Do you have to use a specific?
I mean, there are pole vaulting spikes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a pair that I like specifically like, and that's why I want the brand, because I like the shoe so much. There's that one shoe.
You can say it if you want, who they are.
Well, I don't, if another company happens to come along and we're like going to offer me a better deal, then I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So they're like actual track shoes, like runner shoes, things like that. I was wondering if like people just throw on like some Nikes and start going at it. And
no, they've got spikes at the bottom.
Okay.
And they're designed a certain way so that we can take a lot of impact as well when we're jumping.
Excuse me. I'm imagine it probably doesn't mess you up when you're about to leave the ground.
Yeah.
So if someone is getting into pole vaulting or interesting, like what are some solid tips for like a brand new person getting into it?
Well, first of all, you have to be okay with being upside down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do some handstands, feel okay with your butt being over your head, because and like that's this, well, I mean, I don't think it's scary, but that's usually the scariest part to kids is getting inverted. You gotta be strong and fast.
Well, you're laying on a big pad. I don't know why you'd be scared. It's not like you're
but right before the pad is a big metal box.
Yeah.
That if you go upside down and you lose sight of that, you don't know where you're at.
No. Yeah. Well, it's, I guess, the coaching too. Do you have like a specific approach, or should they have one as far as like leading up to actually hitting that to go over?
Yes.
As far as getting comfortable so they can get over that fear, what would they do?
You don't start automatically by grabbing the biggest pole at the very top of it and going and bending it and shooting yourself up there. Like, that's not how it goes. It's just like, learning anything, like a backflip, right? You don't start with the backflip. You start with a backward roll and then a back handspring, and then you work your way up. Same thing with pole vault. You start small and you work your way back and up.
Do you, with that too, would you say that they should start with running and jumping? Isn't that an actual sport where they actually just run and jump over the pole? Without
high jump.
High jump. Yeah. Why am I'm like blanking on it. So would that help at all as far as getting comfortable?
That's totally different than pole vault. Definitely I would say get more equipped with handling a pole and being okay, like carrying it and running with it, because it's pretty awkward feeling like you're.
How long are those poles?
Well, mine are 14.6 to 15 feet long.
Wow. Yeah. Is there a specific reason? And again, I'm just saying this more from someone who probably has zero knowledge on pole vaulting and just thinking of these random questions too. But is there like a specific benefit to the length of the pole?
Yes. The longer the pole, essentially, the more height you can gain. But you have to be able to handle the length. Okay. Because otherwise, you do have the potential, like if you grab something that was too big for you, you could get spit back out and not make it into
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah.
Suck.
Is that happened to you before too, where you miss the pad and you just slam? Yeah. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. That's my fear too, of like slamming or not hitting the pad and injuries, because I'm so injury prone. I'm so like clumsy that just.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't come to
Yeah. No.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hotworx. I want to let you guys know about an incredible new craze going on in the Austin fitness community. It's called Hotworx. Hotworx is a virtually instructed exercise program created for users to experience the many benefits of infrared heat absorption while completing a 30-minute isometric workout or a 15-minute high-intensity interval training session. As the infrared heat penetrates your body, causing you to sweat, the isometric postures further accelerate detoxification by physically removing the toxins from your organs through muscle contraction. Hotworx is virtually instructed, has 24/7 access, and also offers easy-to-use app-based scheduling so you never have to miss a class again. Hotworx has 2 locations to serve, located at the intersection of Anderson Mill Road and FM 620 in the HEB Plus Shopping Center, and also another location in San Marcos. So stop in, tell them Austin Fitness Community sent you, and get a special free session on us, and check out Hotworx today.
And so is a specific hand placement, things like that play a big role?
Yes. So there's a certain flex point in the pole. Like the specific area where it bends the most.
Yeah.
And where your grip is on the pole can change how the pole bends.
Okay.
And like the angles and stuff make a really big difference. So you want the bend to be right at the perfect angle. And so if you don't have your grip high enough on the pole, it won't be there.
Yeah. That is, I guess it's like you were saying earlier, it's just technique. It's practice. And so
there's a lot involved. It's a very technically sound sport. It's freaking tough.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's not everyone's doing it. Yeah. It takes a specific type of athlete. And so outside of pole vaulting, like, do you have any hobbies, things like you love doing out there and outside, like when you take a break from competing and training? Like, what are some of the things you like doing outside of that?
I am a huge water rat, which is helpful that I'm in Texas and it's nice and hot here. So I love being on the boat. I love wakeboarding so much. I do get worried that I'll injure myself because I'm kind of kamikaze on the wakeboard. So I try and keep it light. But I do have a lot of fun with that. I like being at the river. I like paddle boarding and all that stuff. So
love paddle boarding right out there on the lake, just right in town. And with wakeboarding too, I have at the end of the month, I have Ashley Kidd coming on.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if you've met her, but I had the last episode, I had Angela Gargano on, and she's a ninja warrior, but we were all talking about linking up with Ashley and going wakeboarding. So I'll have to let you know.
That's so
you should
sick.
come with us. I'm super excited.
I'm down. I'll
and
be
then,
there.
hey, if you want, we're doing every year we do an annual boat barge. I don't know if you've been on those double-decker barges. So we're doing one too in May 21st. If you're in town, you should come.
Okay, I might be around then actually.
Yeah, no, they're a ton of fun. Like this is the first year I actually made it public, but we usually just fill it with athletes, influencers, which is the most cringiest word, but it's the most accurate. Business owners, all that, and it's a great time out, but it's also a good time to network and meet people and work with it. So it's got a purpose, but it's also
I can't drink too much.
Yeah, well, we supply all the food, and we'll have booze, and then we'll also have a lot of water and vitamin drinks and things like that, because there are a lot of people that can't drink or just choose not to, which, to each is their own. It's just more for me. And but so have you considered or have you, when you do the water stuff too, is there any specific, what is it, wakeboarding? Would you ever compete in that too?
Oh no.
It's just a hobby.
Yeah, just a hobby. I just do it for fun. It's on my downtime to enjoyable. I compete for a living.
Yeah.
So when I'm not doing that, I don't want to compete.
No. Yeah, it's your downtime and things like that. And so, and you're saying you're living in San Marcos, they got the river out there. You go out there all the time?
I do.
I've never been on it.
No.
Never been on it.
You have not floated the river. Oh my goodness. You haven't lived.
I'm missing out. I've not done enough Texas things to call it home.
Listen.
I need to get my life together.
That's a good time.
Yeah?
Yes.
How
highly recommend.
How long is it? Is it just...
it kind of depends on what you do, because the float usually takes a few hours, but you can stretch it out because there's a lot of opportunity to just stop and link up with other people. And there's Shotgun Island, or quote unquote Shotgun Island.
What's
and
that?
You just, It's just like
it's just a silly.
You just stop and you just shotgun a beer.
Well, shit, that's not it's my kind of island. Have you been out there, Marlon? Have you been on that?
No, not there.
No, yeah, I've been dying to go. Do you go anywhere else around Texas? You go visit any places?
So I go to Lake McQueeney a lot.
Where's that?
It's like in Seguin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think I've been out there.
Is it just called Lake Georgetown? We go to Lake Georgetown quite a bit.
Oh, I haven't been to Lake
You're
Georgetown.
gonna be like on a boat wakeboarding and stuff? Because there's Lady Bird. That's like where you go if you
been there. Yeah.
board. You don't really put like a boat on Lady Bird.
Where's the other place? Oh, I can't remember the lake's name. But it's like more towards Wimberley. I feel like I go out there a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been dying. I'm so happy it's warm now. I'm like so excited to go. I was so over the cold and like just the cloudy weather, and it's so depressing. And I'm so happy now that everything's nice and
I am
can
too,
do more stuff.
For
and
my body specifically.
Oh, it's just good for like my mental health. Like I lived in Tacoma, Washington before I moved to Texas, and it was like where fun went to die. It was dark clouds every day. I felt like a prisoner in Azkaban. Like everyone was just so drained of happiness in life. And it would suck because it's beautiful out there. The scenery is amazing, but that's where it ended. And I just could not, like, I was so depressed all the time.
I won't be visiting there.
No, it's a great place to visit. Not my favorite place to live. And so I always encourage people to go visit. The scenery is unreal, but yeah, I can't do the dark clouds and stuff. I have to be in a nice area and climate, which kind of explains why you're here in Canada.
Yeah.
How often do you go back to Canada?
Oh, several times a year. Yeah. It was really hard. I hadn't been in a while because of the COVID restrictions there.
Oh yeah. Are they still tough right now?
They're still tough. But just not as tough. So I can make it there at least and, not have to worry about quarantining for 2 weeks.
How did that play a role in everything with competing and all that? Did it, obviously you probably had to shut down for a year because the whole world shut.
Luckily for me, because my coach owns her pole vault facility, so she shut down the facility, but I was able to train.
Oh, yeah. A lot of gyms did that.
Yeah, so that was really helpful, and we have like a weight set up in there. So I mean, even though I couldn't go to like my gym, I was able to do my lifting there. And tracks, of course, are public, and I can go on the track when I want to. So I probably got the best situation out of just about anybody.
You didn't get to stop training.
I did not have to stop training.
Yeah, they but all the competitions shut down for a while though.
Yes.
So how long were you? How long was from your last competition to post?
I couldn't even tell you. It felt like forever.
It's the worst.
I know, especially because I compete so long out of the year, and it's like I'm used to it. And not having that, it's just strange, and it really takes like a mental toll on you because you're always used to training with a purpose, and when that purpose is not there, it's scary almost, like it's terrifying.
It was the worst. I was talking about that the other day with a friend where when they had initially locked everything down, I was so going stir crazy, and I felt just so useless because you nailed it on the head. It was like waking up and not having a purpose, like nowhere to go, nothing to do, and just waiting for me to go back to sleep. It was awful. But then what was the first, did you feel like with COVID that it gave you a chance to train and recover and do things? Like, did you get any benefit out of it, or did you feel like not competing was almost kind of a setback?
It was actually a huge silver lining for me.
Really?
Because that was, the year that the Olympics were supposed to be in 2020, and it got pushed back a year. Well, just had come off of another injury with my Achilles. Another just tough one. But so I wasn't actually sure how prepared I would be for the Olympics in 2020. So when COVID hit and it got moved back, I was almost like glad. I was almost appreciative, just because I was like, thank God, like I get another year to keep getting healthy and to keep working on it and preparing. So it actually helped me out a lot.
Yeah. Just some time to recover and prep and get mentally right for it. Like, do you feel like that plays a huge role in competing as well as just being mentally prepared over physically?
I mean, I work on the mental side of the sport probably more than the physical. I work with a psychologist who helps me through my training, just because it's so important, especially in pole vault, because it's not like you can half-ass a pole vault. It's gotta be full send.
Yeah.
Every single jump. It's gotta be full commitment. And there's things that I get scared of that I have to work through and push through. And if you're not prepared to do that mentally, then you're not gonna get any better.
Yeah, and I can imagine just as you get on the bigger stage and bigger platforms, and then you start hitting bigger numbers than the expectations, like
yes,
it can only does that kind of pressure motivate you, or does it kind of like almost instill fear into you as well? Some people react differently as they tend to grow. Sometimes
right.
That's kind of what I'm curious about, is if that kind of stuff motivates you more.
Well, that's a great question. And I love pressure.
Yeah.
I thrive with pressure for sure. But what I have a hard time with is me applying too much pressure to myself.
Oh.
Just because I have such high expectations and high goals. And it's like I'm constantly trying to pressure my own self. It's not the competition that's pressuring me, or not things that are coming up. It's just me.
Yeah.
And so that's what I have to, kind of battle with.
Yep. That's definitely, the downside of being like a really motivated individual is you end up being your biggest critic. And I struggle with the same thing where, I could have 10 awesome things of success, but it's that one thing that I didn't quite hold up to my standard that will drive me crazy.
Eat at you.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the little thing. Yep.
I know.
I have the hardest time sleeping sometimes. I can't turn my brain off because I'll just be thinking about what I got to get done the next day, or I'm so hungry for, just racking up a list of just things I got accomplished and done. And yeah, it's been pretty wild. And with Austin though, I talk about this all the time. It's growing so fast. It has gotten so big in just the last couple of years, and COVID sped that up 10 times, and everyone coming here. But really the city's great because it's so easy to surround yourself with really like-minded, motivated people. And have you met a lot of people out here as far as that you train with, or have been able to connect with on that stage as far as staying focused? And
today's episode is brought to you by Line 1 Nutrition. Since their inception 13 years ago, Line 1 Nutrition has steadily grown into one of the most trusted supplement companies in the world, consistently formulating groundbreaking muscle-building supplements enjoyed throughout the USA and at military bases around the world. Excellent customer service is a staple of Line 1 Nutrition and is a big reason they've maintained a dedicated customer base with clients who reorder time and again. Line 1 Nutrition's products aren't the garden variety proteins and pre-workouts found on the shelf. They've spent years developing a line custom engineered to exceed normal standards and meet every need, from mind-blowing pre-workouts to incredible joint support with CBD, and even green energy Malaysian kratom, which provides fantastic stress-reducing, anti-inflammatory properties that benefit athletes of any kind. But where Line 1 has really made their mark is with their lean muscle-building supplements. No other company can match Line 1's unique, potent, proven effective muscle builders. The bottom line is, if you're serious about taking your physique to the next level, visit www.line1nutrition.com today and use code AFC15 to save 15% off your entire order.
Yes. I mean, I love the variety and the diversity out here. I think it's wonderful. I also love that, this is like a mecca. So, so actually I train completely by myself. But there are athletes that come into town that take training camps here that I'm able to work with when they do come into town, which is really nice. So some of my Canadian teammates are coming down in a few weeks.
Oh, that'd be fun.
To train here for about a week, and I'm excited for that. Or so it's a good time for sure.
Do you prefer training alone over sharing the time with someone else?
I do and I don't. It's definitely helpful when you have somebody out there pushing you.
Yeah.
But and I don't mean to sound cocky, but the problem that I have is if somebody's not as good as me or not stronger than me, then I don't necessarily like training.
That's not cocky at all. That's an expectation. It's the thing is there's a time and place to train with people that, are still working their way up, but you have to train with the best to get the best out of yourself. That's at least how I've always believed. And, that's what I prefer, is to train with high, accomplished athletes and pros and things like that, because you only get the best out of that. And so it's, when you're training, is it different from when you're training with someone versus training alone?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even just like I'm training alone, so it's just quiet the whole time.
Yeah.
Versus when I'm with somebody, we'll just be like chatting, gossiping in between reps and stuff. So it makes it feel like more light and more fun. Versus when I'm training by myself, it feels way more intentional. And just more focused.
What is a training day like? Like, what do you specifically do? Like, obviously you'll have your warm up, but do you like say tomorrow you're going in to train? Like, what's that gonna look like?
Well, tomorrow is actually my off day, but like on Monday. When
Monday comes.
Train,
yeah.
I'll do my warm up and I'll do my pole vaulting practice, which usually takes about 2 hours.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah. I take a lot of jumps, so we work on a lot of drills and stuff like that. And then at the end, sometimes we do these like endurance jump challenges where I'll have to take a certain amount of jumps and for time and see how fast I can take those jumps. And it's friggin' tough. But so like last week I did 10 jumps in about 8 minutes.
Wow.
And yeah, I was struggling.
That's a lot back to back.
I was struggling for sure. But and then after that, I have an hour-long gymnastics practice. Just work on upper body and core, work on gain inverted and the swing and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, I have physical therapy for about an hour. And then I have downtime. Man,
that's a full day.
Yeah.
That's a serious training. Like, that's a lot. Yeah. When you're doing the gymnastics, is it just like calisthenic training, like pull-ups and dips and things like that?
Yeah, I actually also do like gymnastics. So like the where you strap your wrists onto the bar and you can do like giants and clear hips and stuff. Do that too.
It looks like so much fun when they swing around and they're on like the little saddle. Looks like they're on a bowl and they're swinging. I always thought those guys were cool.
Thing. I don't do that.
I don't know. I just that I always saw that and it was so cool. And so it's been amazing watching Austin grow and getting to see all the pros coming here and training. Is this a place you think you'll, obviously you're in San Marcos, basically Austin, but do you ever see yourself leaving, or do you plan on just calling this home?
I mean, I love it. I can't imagine myself leaving, just because I love it here so much. And like, I feel like at this point I've built up, my friend base and all my supporters and whatnot. So I can't imagine myself leaving, but who knows?
Where else would you want to go if there was another spot?
I don't really want to leave Texas necessarily. I could see myself like in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then the other place I could see myself would be like Florida.
Yeah, that's a spot right there. I was just in Miami last year. I loved it. I don't know if I would want to live there.
I don't know that I would live in Miami necessarily, but like, somewhere outside of that. Yeah.
It's the warm
Texas. Like, I know it's the heat. I love it.
The people, everyone's great. Yeah. And so, but I mean, at this point, everyone's coming here, like we were talking, I was at that Tesla grand opening and there was it was unreal. And hearing all the things that there was growing and everyone that was coming, like moving to town, I'm like, this is a place to be. I didn't know that was going to happen when I moved here, that this would become home base for all things business, athletes, all the pros coming here. And, so have you ever considered doing your own event too? Maybe like, the Anicka Classic, something like that, like do a thing like that?
It's just, I mean, God, maybe in the future at some point in time when I like have the time to actually build that up and do all the dynamics behind that. Cause that's a lot and getting all that put together. But I would love one of the Texas state meets to be named after me.
Oh yeah. So why not?
Is
there like a federation? Is there like a specific one, or is it just kind of like you show up?
Show up.
Yeah. Because for example, like with powerlifting, there's like USAPL, like WRPF, things like that, or bodybuilding, there's NPC and GBO stuff. So I didn't know if when you go and compete at these meets, if it's all under a certain like actual federation that you have to compete in, if there's different ones like that.
I mean, in a way, yes. So, I'm sorry, I moved the mic. So like there's certain level of competitions where you actually get more points if the competition is like a B league versus like a D. You won't get as many points at a D meet as you would at a B. So there's levels to that. And it's all kind of political. Yeah. So for the most part, I just focus on myself and I'm just there I'm at any meet, I'm there to jump high. Yeah. Just let my
do your own thing.
Height speak for itself.
And so with points, does that add up to have someone that qualifies for like trials?
It helps you qualify for sure. So say for example that I didn't hit the Olympic standard, like the height that I have to hit, but I have so many points from hitting all these competitions and winning them that they'll still take me because of the amount of points that I have.
Okay. And so with the trials too, how many people usually compete in pole vaulting at a trial?
Oh, a lot. Oh gosh, a lot. Sometimes too much, honestly. I feel like they need to split it up. I like my preferred is like 12 girls in a competition. And they'll be like at trials in 2016, there was like 30 some.
That's a long.
It's just a lot.
How long are those trials usually?
What shit? Friggin' 2016 Olympic trials took us like 5 hours. And it's because in Canada, it was freaking pouring rain and like 52 degrees. We had like 3 rain delays and you had 30 girls to get through that are all jumping like, and no offense to my Canadian friends, but like 12 feet, 13 feet. And then it's like, I'm waiting to come in until 14 feet or so. And it's like, I'm just sitting there.
So bored. Just drained and that's annoying. Yeah, maybe they should split it up. I know with like the jiu-jitsu guys, they do like their Super Bowl competition is called ADCC, but they do trials. They'll have like a West trials and East trials.
Okay.
And then it's like whoever wins that, I believe, goes to the main.
Oh, okay.
So that might be a way to split that up.
Yeah, I'd rather them just split it up into like 2 days and have like an A group and a B group.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's just it.
Yeah, I mean, 5 hours in the rain just doesn't sound
miserable.
Like, I feel like you're at that point kind of restricting people from getting the best out of them.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I would hate that. And so with, so your next competition is, you said next week? Next week. And then what's planned after that?
So my agent is putting together kind of a list of competitions in, May. And then June is the national trials that I'll prepare for in order to go to World Championships this year.
And where's the national trials at?
The national trials are going to be in Vancouver.
Okay. And then Worlds is at...
Worlds this year is actually here in the U.S.
What?
It's in Oregon.
No, Oregon.
Yeah, Tracktown in Eugene. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Nike headquarters.
Yep.
Been out there. And so how many people do you feel like pole vaulting is growing at all? Is more mainstream?
A ton. Yeah. I mean, compared to even when I started, like it's like, who pole vaults?
Yeah. Well, I was very unfamiliar with the sport itself, and so that's why I was super excited to meet you and have you on. And so what do you think is attracting people to the sport?
You know what? It's such a complex sport, but literally anybody can pole vault.
Yeah.
I could teach anybody to pole vault. You can pick it up. Like you don't have to be the most athletic person to be ordered to pole or to be able to do pole vaulting. So I feel like for a lot of these kids, it's like they don't really fit into a niche or to a sport in their school. And they try pole vault, and that's where they can actually, win events and pick up points for their school. And be part of a community. Yeah,
it's high school sports is so restrictive too. Like, it's very political. Like, yes. I rode the bench in high school for football, but I still ended up walking on at a junior college and moving myself up. But if I would have known that there were more sport options like that, like I probably would have partook in them. But I love that. I think that people should expand and try new things and get out and do more. And who knows, like you could find the next best pole vaulter, and
never know what somebody's capable of.
Right. It's a cool sport. And so I think it's, how many people do you think are growing or going to be competing in the nationals now, if it's growing that much?
I don't actually know the answer to that.
Oh. They don't tell you, they don't give you a list of people that are going?
They'll come out with a list basically the week of.
Oh, yeah.
So, because it's after everybody has already submitted and entered into the competition. I don't know, actually.
Yeah. And how many on average do you think, or how many people competed at the last one in nationals? Because you said the number you want is usually 12, but there was like 30. And so, and then with the Olympics, how many people are usually competing in your sport at that? So in prelims at the Olympics, there was about 48 girls. Maybe less than. No, probably about 48. So they split us up onto 2 pits. Okay. So there was a ton of girls. There was like 20 some girls on each pit. So you're waiting in line
And it's like, damn, I better not fuck this jump up because I only get so many in this warm up because you only get, an hour long period. But if there's 20 girls and they're each taking a minute to 2 minutes to take a jump, you only get several jumps in a warm up. And I like to be able to take my time and jump when I'm ready to jump and do my thing.
And so who is like the top dog right now in the world?
There's a few.
Yeah.
There's a few top dogs in the world. Yeah. They're all
like,
really good friends of mine.
Me. I'm one of them. Yeah. And so who is the current world record you said, or you were talking about the national record. What's the current world record in women's?
The current world record is 5 meters 06, which is essentially 16 feet 5 inches. So a foot over what I'm jumping. Is
that individual still competing?
No.
That was a long time ago. So that's the goal. Beat that.
Yeah, that's everybody's goal.
Get there. So
have a world record. Yes.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Your shoe deals are coming quick then. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I was overall, I was just really curious, and I was super excited to learn about the sport and see it. And I'll definitely come out and do that. And I guess kind of in conclusion, like where can people find you? Like socials, plugs, things like that.
I'm not the best on socials. I'm just learning TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Marlon's
famous on there now.
Are you? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, something weird happened the other day where I got like tagged in I don't know, someone who was viral, like, used one of my videos. I was like,
that's what you need. Yeah.
So I commented and he pinned me at the top, and the notifications are just
coming in, flooding in.
I told Josh, you got to watch how you speak to me now.
Yeah. Might have to give him a camera. Yeah. Just gave him that mic. So
I'm TikTok famous.
Yeah.
Watch how you talk to me. No, but mainly mainly on Instagram at flygirl93.
Flygirl93. Yeah, we'll throw it in the bios and do all that stuff. You don't do like YouTube vlogs or anything like that?
I really wish I did, especially because, a lot of people don't see all like the behind the scenes, like all the training I do throughout the year. You just see the one competition, like the big show. And it's so much work that goes into it. So I would love to do like a blog or YouTube. It's a ton of work.
Yeah, well, that's why you get someone to come and do it for you. Get a camera crew or something. There's a ton of them out here.
You gotta pay people to come and do it for you. And let me tell you, if you're trying to make money, pole vault is not the way to go.
Right? Yeah, it's you don't do anything else outside of that, as far as like you don't go and do modeling gigs or what is it? What do they call it? Like, I guess it's kind of like promotion. Like, I guess modeling is probably the best term for it. So
promotion. I mean,
like with brands and stuff.
Yeah, I do a little bit of that. But I actually tend to try and stay away from it, specifically because I've noticed that it takes a toll. It takes away from my training.
Oh yeah.
And I've noticed a trend, especially with females that start to drift into that area, is they start sucking at their sport.
Yeah.
Like they get, I don't know, big-headed and start working primarily, on aesthetics, and then the training kind of just goes out the window.
I think they get caught up in that, like the glamour and materialism of being seen. Yeah. That's like a huge trend I've seen growing, is like people, they just want to be seen. They don't actually want to do anything. They just want to be praised and get the glory, but it's like, what are you doing? And
I've got my whole life to do that left, but like I've got one more Olympics left in me, so I'm gonna give it all I got.
Yeah, you're not gonna try to go again after that? Is it pretty brutal?
This is gonna be it. This is gonna be it.
All or nothing.
All or nothing.
Well, I definitely appreciate coming out. We'll set up. We'll go do. I'll go out there. I'll go try some pole vault, and we'll make it happen. I'll make sure anything tags, anything you need, we're putting it in there. But I do appreciate you coming out. It's been a ton of fun, and we'll definitely have to run it back and do it some more. And you're welcome here anytime. And so,
thank you so much.
Marlon, you take us out.
Here we go, baby.